Alright, today we're going to do a little bit about game design with combinatorics. Now, combinatorics is something you learn in like high-level maths in grade 11 and 12. You might also learn about them in university. There's a lot of interesting mathematical formulas you can do with them, but you don't need to know a lot about that. You just kind of have to have a sense of it, like a natural kind of instinct about how things combine. Why do we learn about this? Because it's a good way to generate card lists. So I'm working on a game about pick up and deliver. You're picking up passengers on a cruise line and trying to drop them off at places they want to go. And you're trying to hopefully draw cards that match the color of your passengers. That's the basic sort of mathematical concept. Is I've got a blue passenger, I want to put them off somewhere where there's blue. So I've got 4 colors. 4 is usually a good number to work with because around about 4 or 5 is how much people can hold in their head very easily. And it also produces a fair amount of combinatorics, right? You actually get a lot of different combinations. So what we've got here is a situation where there is replacement because you can have a card. So every card is going to have a number of colors on it. You can have up to, maybe not 4, but probably 3 on each card. So we don't want something with every color. And it can have multiples. So you can choose twice. So normally you've got things called permutations where you can't choose more than once. So if you're drawing cards from a deck and you're not replacing, right, you can draw an ace and then you can draw another ace. And every time you draw, you're changing the probability. But then there's drawing with replacement. So that's where you draw an ace and then you shuffle it back into the deck. Okay, so what I really want to do though is just generate a card list. So I'm in a very early stage of this game, so I want to make sure that I just have a bunch of cards so I can test just the feel of the mechanics before I get down and work out what kind of things are gonna if the game works and how to balance all the little bits. So we've got 4 colors. I'm going to call them blue, red, green, and pink. And that gives me 4 letters. And then I'm going to basically just start generating combinations. So I've got blue, I've got blue, blue, I've got blue, 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 because we can have up to 3. And then we're thinking about how many, we've got that for all 4 colors. So pink, 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 pink. So we can immediately see we're going to have 12 of those. Green, 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 and red, 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 red. But more complicated than that are the way that they can combine. So we can have, if you're looking at 2 picks, where we've got blue, red. So we've already got blue, blue, but we've got blue, red, blue, pink, blue, green, and then we can do the other one. So 4 choose 2 where there's no replacement. If you do the math on that, it's actually... God, I can't remember now. I think it's, or even with replacement, right? If with replacement, there's 16 different ones, right? Because the first number can be any of the 4, and the second number can be any of the 4, right? So you're going to get 16 cards out of that. So we started with 12. We've got now effectively another 12 because the blue blues, the double ups are already done, but we've got red pink, red green. But we actually don't have this. In this case, right? So permutations are used when order matters, and there's actually fewer of those because in this case, a pink red is the same thing as a red pink. So we don't have 16. We actually only have like 6, right? Because you can have A, B, A, C, A, D. That's 4, but you can't have B, A again. So you've got B, C, B, D. That's 6, and C, D, that's 7. Hang on, no, that's only 6. There are 6 different ways that you can arrange 4 things when you're only looking at 2. So that's not going to give you a lot of choice, right? That's why you have to look at other combinations. So since order doesn't matter here, we're just looking at matches, we're going to look at more complicated things. So we've got blue, red, blue, pink, blue, green, red, pink, red, green, and we've got green, pink. That's our basis. So we're probably going to want to have lots of those. But the good thing is we're having multiple numbers of this. So we can have blue, blue, red, blue, blue, green, blue, blue, pink, blue, blue, we've already done blue, blue, blue. So that's another 3. We've got red, red, blue, red, red, green, red, red, pink. So we're going to go through and get another 12 this way. Pink, pink, green, pink, pink, blue, pink, pink, red, pink, pink. That's those 3, and then green, green, red, green, green, pink, green, green, blue. Now that already, just looking at all the different possibilities that I've written down here, is actually 30 different combinations. Now, I want the ones with, I've decided I'm going to make blue and red slightly more valuable. They're harder to get, but they're worth more points. That's a great way to just sort of indicate a little bit of strategy and make people go, oh, do I go for something that's a bit harder to get and a bit riskier? Or do I go for something else? Do I go for something that's easier to get, but might be worth less points, but maybe I can do it more often? With 30 basic cards, I really want, now how many people are going to be playing the game? Now we've got to think about how many cards there are. And this is really, again, basics of the game. It's just trying to figure out basic numbers. I want this to hold 2 to 5 players. So I have to consider both player counts. On a turn, every player can visit and draw cards. And I've got a system where each player sort of contributes to the drawing of cards. So there's probably going to be about 1 to 5 cards drawn on each of the islands where players are visiting. Probably an average of 2 cards wherever a player is. So we're looking at drawing about 10 cards a turn on average. We are probably going to want somewhere around 100 cards, because there's probably going to be somewhere between 8 and 10 turns, and we don't want to have to shuffle too much. Probably looking at about 80 cards maybe. That's a good number to have a fair amount of randomness. So we've got 30 as our base. If we choose the ones that don't have blue and red and double those, then we will have about 45, and then we can just double everything again. Or we can double the smaller numbers again, and we should be able to getting up. So we actually probably don't want to make, we want to make the ones that have lots of different ones rarer, because that's the ones that pay off for everybody. We want to make the specific ones and the low number ones valuable. And I just realized I've forgotten some. I've forgotten the triples. I've got the 2s with 1, but I haven't got the triples. So there is blue, green, red, blue, red, pink. And that's the 2 with blue. Then there's red, green, pink, red. But we've got red, green, blue. We've already got red, green, blue. We did blue, green, red, but we haven't got red, green, pink. And is there another one? I think there's 4 different ways you can do this. So we've got blue, green, red, blue. We haven't got blue. We haven't got blue, green, pink. That's the one we're missing. Blue, green, red, blue, pink, pink, blue, red, pink, and then red, green, blue. 4 ways that you can combine those things. And that brings us up to 35. So now if we go through the ones that are monocolored and low numbered, and we increase the number of those, we can look at how many we've got. So for example, the one color ones, we want them to be more of those. So we were just going to put 3 in of each of those. Then we'll probably put in 3 each of the high monocolor ones, because they're really valuable, but only to certain players. So we kind of want to have that kind of situation where there's like, wow, there's tons of stuff for this kind of person there, but I didn't bring any. That's an interesting mechanic. So we're just going to put those in as well. So I've got 3 each of those. So you can't really see what I'm doing, but I'm basically just going through my spreadsheet. The 2 things that a game designer need is a thesaurus and a spreadsheet, right? So I've put in 3 each of the 1Bs and 3 each of the 3Bs, and I've done that for every color. So that already gives us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 24 cards just from those. Then we're going to go through and find the ones that have 2. And we probably want more of those than the ones that are sort of more varied, because they're better. So we're going to have 2 each of those. So we have 2 Bs, 2 of the double Bs, 2 of the triple B, 2 of the double Ps, 2 of the double Gs. And so I'm just writing down letters, because we can always we can then draw this, right? We make the spreadsheet and then we draw it. We're probably going to double up the double letter ones as well that are just 2 letters. So I'm going to paste those 6 in there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then I'm going to paste them again. And again, this is the great thing about spreadsheets, right? We can just write them all down, then double them up again. Now, just from those, we're at 45. Then we'll put in the triples, and the triples, which gives us the most amount of flexibility. That gets us to 60 cards. Now, we could stop there, or we could just double that up. We might, if we take the singles and we double them again, so there's really a lot of ways to try to get those. Then we've got 72 cards. And 72 cards is actually a nice number because it's a multiple of 18, so it's easy to print. And that's a good thing to start with, right? Now we have 72 cards, we can work out the proportions already. And we just did that by just thinking, how can we combine things? Now, I now know how many of each card I want to do. So I can write, right, for every card with just a blue on it, I want there to be 4 of those. But what I'm actually going to input these in as, when it comes to putting them in a card database, I'm not just going to write card with 1 blue, which is called blah, and then times 3, because I want to be able, when I send to a printer, to itemize all of these. So getting ahead of that, I'm going to, oh no, actually I'll do it both ways. First of all, I'll just list every card and how many I want of them so that we can make them. But when I'm taking it to a printer, I'm actually going to say, all right, so there's card, just say there's 3 aces of spades. I have 001 ace of spades, 002 ace of spades, 003 ace of spades, because I need to be able to track exactly all the cards in my deck. I need to know that this is this one, and this is this one, this one, this one. Different printers will have different ways about doing that. So, both of those approaches are important. But for now, I'm just going to make a list, and then I will think of all the names for the things, and that's something that you don't have to worry about too much. Later on in playtesting, it's going to be important, but these things don't necessarily have to have names. They can just have an image, because they're just quite simple. And it doesn't really matter to the players that there isn't a perfect match. Like, just say you say that romantic dinner out is 2 red, but fancy dinner is 3 red, and then someone comes along and goes, well, actually the romantic dinner looks better. That doesn't really matter. That doesn't really matter in actual game design. And it's something that you can, like, it does matter on a core level that things do make sense. The purpose of theme is to communicate meaning, but if a little picture or a little name on a card that you're barely looking at doesn't seem 100% to gel with the symbols it's giving you, nobody's really going to notice, because they're just going to be moving on and going, really, are those bananas really worth the same as a coconut? It doesn't matter. In the game, they're just going to go, oh yeah, I want bananas. Of course bananas are more important, or of course bananas are worth a coconut. I'm just thinking about them as in terms of the game thing. So that's how I've generated my card list. I now have 72 cards just by looking at combinations, just by going, how many ways can I combine 4 different colors, and which ones should I repeat? And then I've got 72 cards, and now I'm just going to sort of give them a name or a symbol, and then we can print out some cards and we can start making a game.